Hey everyone, welcome back. This is The Works, and this is Braden Schwab. Really happy to be back here with you today. We're going to keep it going with the style that we have been when it comes to these videos. The cold front that's been sweeping Texas, the Midwest, has made its way to where I am. And let me tell you, it has got your boy in a cold, and I'm not trying to show my face on camera this week. So bear with me. We're going to still keep it pushing and we're going to talk a little bit about Grailed. But we're not going to go into the buyer side with that, kind of how we did in past videos, for example, Depop. But what we are going to do is talk about how or why you should still use Grailed as a seller. So the first point that I wanted to come across is the commissions. So, as you may know, there was a pretty big outrage when the commission fee came up to that 9% recently in the Grail community. But the thing is, on the larger scale, if you look at it compared to the other companies, it's not so bad. It's only at that 9% mark. And no matter what else is taken off from, what other third party companies that you're using to help sell or shipping or whatever, it's still hovering around that range that you could see for Depop and even what you could be getting for eBay, which is very up and down. It depends on where you're selling to when it, with eBay. So there's a lot of other factors that go into that. Now I'm going to come into the Grailed app. First page, they have a lot of different curations. They have a lot of different things that they have that are coming soon for Grailed. So it's a lot of something that you can look out for as beneficial for when you're trying to find some motivation on what to design. And because of Black History Month, as you can see here, the Black designers were being displayed there so that you can look into a lot of their designs and see a lot of up and coming people. But we're going to skip in to getting into that selling portion. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that little sell button up top. So pretty simple. You're just going to add in your category. You would add in the designer's name. If you have that, make sure you put it in. Easily can be found on the tag most of the time. Item name, size. Now, when you're labeling these things out, especially size, you want to make sure you get it 100% accurate, because when you're first signing on to Grailed, it allows you to customize everything down to your specific size. So if you just leave something blank, or if you only put in your description, most of the people are not going to find it. That's right. Most of the people are not going to find it because they're not going to be looking for a wide range of clothes, hoping that it fits them when they click in the description. They're going to be looking for whatever is curated to fit them, to fit their certain search. So you want to be as descriptive as possible. And I would say even more so than other apps I've checked out like Depop, because again, the difference in Depop and Grailed is Depop does not ask you for that information right up front. And since Grailed does, it makes it hard to switch that off to look for a wider range of clothing. And then as we scroll down here, you also want to make sure you add in the color. Add in also if there's any sort of fades with those colors, because you want them to be fully aware of how your outfit looks. And if they get it and they notice that, there's might be a little bleach stain here, a fade in the colors overall because it's an older piece, then you're going to have to deal with a lot of that backlash, and you will be getting an email from that. You will be getting a review on your account. And if you're a high scale seller, that's something you definitely want to be attention to. If you're just going to be a one and done or sell a couple articles, or if you're just moving a couple things out for like a garage sale, then it's not something that's going to impact you that much. But on a higher scale of things, it's definitely something that could hurt your whole reputation in the app and can really push you into moving on to another app. And that's not the reason why you would want to go somewhere else besides Grailed, is because your reputation was ruined on the site. Going down, they give you really great examples of what to say in your description, making sure you let them know what the retail price is, because you want people to see that they're getting some sort of deal by buying it with you instead of paying for retail? What would be the point of buying a $300 pair of Yeezys when they're $300 stock, $300 new right now? Exactly, there is no point. Be very detailed with the condition. You see why it's labeled multiple times? The condition is very important. They want to make sure that they're getting something that's going to last them a good amount of time. No one's going to want to buy something with a ton of holes, no matter how prestigious the brand is, because they don't think it's going to last that long. And there's not too much value in that. The more damage, usually, unless it's some specific pieces, you're just not going to find what you need there. And then, of course, you wanted them to know what your shopping policy is. Do you have any returns? What's the rate usually going to be? Because just being upfront with people helps them to make the decision much easier, because then they have less questions about what things are going to work out. More people are just going to want to click in and buy than go back and forth and ask you 20 questions or 21 questions. And I know you as a seller are not going to want to waste your time doing that. Tags, pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to click here into tagging tips so you can kind of see from the how to sell guide, which is really clutch for Grailed. They encourage using the most accurate tags to reach the right pool of potential buyers. So if you have something that is running into the genre of streetwear, you would easily, like a Supreme hoodie, you would easily make sure you tag streetwear, luxury streetwear, Supreme streetwear, Supreme look, Supreme clothing. You would also tag things such as thrift, DIY, custom clothing, fashion clothing, anything that can get the attention of your person. So that's the really important thing when it comes to that there. Now going on, I'm going to go back and go into pricing tips. So the biggest tips for pricing that I can tell you is make sure you compare it to what you're already seeing on the marketplace. So we're going to go back to a pair of Yeezys. When you find a pair, you're going to need to make sure that what you have is priced accurately to where you need things to be. Because one, you're trying to make a profit, and two, you don't want to send an impression that what you have out here is not really worth what it is. So with that in mind, a good point that was made out here is, searching, through old listing feeds to get a great idea on how much buyers are willing to pay. You marking it off at a specific number may not be what the market asks for it. This is something that's applied for people who are just using any app like OfferUp. And I've mentioned this before in my Depop video, that the market will only pay how much the piece is worth every time. And shipping, as I mentioned, make sure that, everything is fair and equitable, but also don't make something that's so insane that you're not going to be able to do anything with it. And I would say the next thing that I wanted to get into is pretty generic, but it's also very important. That's why we wanted to save the best for last, and that's photos. So with the photos, you want to always make sure that you have a clear white backdrop for your piece so that you can kind of separate it. Now you can create this white backdrop by taking a picture and then just simply putting it into any basic photo editing app. A lot of the Adobe Lightrooms will work well for you. A Fonto could be one that works pretty well as well as Prequel. There's a lot of different photo apps, and I'll drop some names in the description here. But the key there is being able to make them look professional as possible, because when you first start with an account, you're not going to have a lot of people that are buying from you. You're not going to have the reviews, you're not going to have the follows. So to build that brand trust, you're going to want to build a professional looking profile. The same way a small growing YouTube channel wants to have the great thumbnail, the great title, and a great video to complement itself, so that you are presented with something that looks, high quality, of value, of professionalism. And if you're not doing that, then it can make it really hard for you to grow. But once you're there, that's when all the validity starts coming. You get the attention, you'll get views and you'll get people who are actually looking and interested in what you're trying to sell. Now, make sure that you have, I would recommend anywhere from 3 to 5, 3 to 4, 3 to 5. You want to have a couple of the piece just sitting in front of a white background. And you want to have a few pictures of either yourself wearing the piece or whoever fits the piece the best. If you're a man and you're selling, female shoes, you want to make sure you have a female model that fits the shoe on wearing it so that you can get a good idea of how it would fit well for people. We see a lot of not trailers, but Instagram posts for Fashion Nova all the time. Do you think they pick those women just because they're celebrities? Now, that plays a big part, but they also want to make sure they get celebrities that fit their outfits the best and they make them look the best so that when you go out and buy it, you're going to think, okay, I'm going to look like this when I buy this, or I'm going to look just like them because it's going to fit me the way it fits them. It's supposed to help you imagine how good you would look. So they wouldn't get anyone that looks bad in it. That would be poor marketing. But yeah, so make sure that you have photos clear out so they can see every blemish, every poor conditioning spot on the shoe or on the shirt or on the pants, whatever you're selling. Make sure that everything is exposed and comes to light because, again, you don't want to have it on the back end where they feel they didn't know what they were getting. They got, whatever, Supreme hoodie or whatever you bought, and they hate it because they know it's not accurate to what you told them what it was going to be. So again, really important things. You don't want to ruin your reputation on Grailed. You don't want to ruin your reputation on any app, period. But Grailed is really trying to crack down on things like lack of authentication. Lack of authentication when it comes to shoes, shirts, and the like. So you want to make sure that you are standing out in the best way and you don't present yourself in a position to where you're building a bad reputation. And you want to have clothing that actually sells. You don't want to have something that's just sitting there for months and months because there's no point as a reseller, which I'm sure a lot of you are watching this video. You're not going to get much advantage for that if you're just flipping things quick and not establishing a brand. Make yourself organized. If you have a lot of pieces, a tip that a lot of people use is setting up Google Sheets, setting up a Google Doc that has all of your products, when they're sold, who they're sold to, and where you're selling it off of. You could be selling off of Grailed, you could be selling off of Depop, eBay, Craigslist. You want to have everything in like a set place so that you can tell when and where things are coming from. But anyways, that's all I had for this episode of The Works. We're going to keep getting into a lot of these cool topics and also following up with some pretty cool things that I've been working on. We're going to be getting into a cool painting project in the coming weeks. Regardless of that, we're going to catch you next week. As always, peace and bye.